It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you and welcome to this special edition of Science Bowl. The two teams you're about to meet have won once previously, and today's winner moves on to the semifinals in the elementary competition. A lot at stake today. Let's meet today's teams. First, from Forest Heights Elementary School, would you say hello to Jemiah Barrett, Jabari Champion, and Tamaya Bell. And from Hillcrest Heights Elementary School, say hello to Adriana Escudero, Carmen Davis, and Rayvon Stone. And now here are the categories of questions we use on the Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
Here on the Science Bowl, we arrange our game board according to the difficulty of the questions, with the easier ones on the left worth 5 and 10, the tougher ones worth 15, 20, and ultimately 25, the toughest of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. And to the 2 rounds today, we will have a competitor for Perrywood Elementary in the semifinal rounds. Let's go over and make sure everything works properly. Let's go to the Forest Heights team. Jabari, would you try your buzzer? Red team looks like it's ready and raring to go. And Carmen, how about the Hillcrest Heights buzzer? Also looks and sounds good. Congratulations, everybody, making it this far in our competition. And as one of our judges just said, it is the Battle of the Heights today. Forest Heights versus Hillcrest Heights. Alphabetically F before H. So Jabari and Forest Heights, let's play the bowl.
Green things for 5.
Green things for 5 points. Teams, talk about a frustrated herbivore. In the Ice Age movies, Scrat, the saber-toothed squirrel, could never seem to get this. Forest Heights.
Acorn.
The acorn, yeah, that acorn just always remained just beyond his reach somehow. All right, kind of like the coyote and the roadrunner. Could never quite catch it, the frustrated carnivore. Go Red.
No.
Okay, so what do you want to tell me? Let's see how good you are. All right, go ahead.
Green things for 10.
Green things for 10 points. All right, teams. On the farm, farmers feed the farm animal silage, which is every part of the plant that is above ground, which means you never give the plants what part of the plant to the animals to eat. Hillcrest Heights.
The roots.
The roots, yeah, that's it. Thanks, Rayvon. Go. Carmen.
Zoo Parade for 10.
Zoo Parade for 10 points, teams. Cowbirds and cuckoos, they don't attack other birds. They don't drink their blood, but they lay their eggs in other birds' nests. So yeah, they are still what kind of P-initialed creatures that kind of feed off of others? Hillcrest Heights.
Parasites?
Yeah, they're parasites. They're called brood parasites. They let other parents raise their chicks. Nice work if you can get it. Go Green.
Body system for 10.
Body systems for 10 points. Teams, if a dentist gives you a root canal, he's going to drill through your enamel into this soft P-initialed spongy part and take it and treat it. That P-initialed spongy part has what same name as the stuff that is sometimes in orange juice and sometimes isn't.
Pulp.
Forest Heights.
Pulp.
Pulp, that's exactly right. The pulp in your tooth, that's right. And the pulp that is sometimes high pulp or no pulp or medium pulp in orange juice. All right, Forest Heights. Red.
Zoo Parade for 5.
Zoo Parade for 5 points. Teams, according to German legend, the goddess of spring, Istra, created the first European hare from a bird. So, to thank the bird, every year on Easter, the Easter Bunny does this. Jabari.
Give a plant eggs, like scatter eggs. Give them eggs. It's like
Not quite, not quite. Every year, in honor of that bird that was used to create the first European hare, the Easter Bunny does this.
give them eggs full of hair.
Hides eggs.
Adriana?
Hides eggs.
No, lays eggs. The Easter Bunny lays an egg. Go again, Red. Good try.
Body systems for 5.
Body systems for 5 points. Teams, the new SpongeBob musical is called Flaming Blanks, the part of the body that we use to kiss with. Jabari.
Lips.
Lips, flaming lips. SpongeBob, my favorite. Go, Red.
Green things for 15.
Green things for 15 points. Teams, sometimes you will see leaves with water beaded up on them. To keep leaves waterproof, what W initial substance is spread over those leaves? It is sometimes called paraffin as well. What keeps those leaves waterproof? What's the W initial substance? It's wax. Wax. Try again, Red.
Super Ray for 15.
Zuprate for 15 points is a visual question. Look at the monitor if you would, please. Teams, this is a very odd fish. It's called the Opah, O-P-A-H. It is homeothermic, meaning it gives birth to live young, it is warm-blooded, or it reproduces asexually. Which of those three? If it's homeothermic.
Warm-blooded.
Warm-blooded, yeah. Thermic is the heat. That was the clue in that question. Go again. Red.
Body systems for 15.
Body systems for 15 points. Teams, if you're walking home from school tonight and a really mean dog starts to chase you, even if you aren't very fast, you're going to run faster than you've ever run in your life. And if you don't know how to climb trees, you'll find yourself up that tree, because your body just got a shot of what hormone that can make you superhuman for a few minutes. Forrest Heights.
Nerves.
Not nerves. What is the name of that hormone that will be released into your body to give you that superhuman strength to run faster and climb faster than you've ever done before?
May I pass to Adriana?
You may.
Muscles.
Not muscles. It's called adrenaline. A shot of adrenaline. Have you heard of that before? All right. Go, Red. Whoop. No, we're not going to go anywhere. The buzzer says the first round's over. So our score right now is Forest Heights 85, Hillcrest Heights 70. We'll be back with the second round in just a moment.
Simple moments are what make every day count.
And welcome back to Science Bowl. And you can see on our board back here that most of the questions are still waiting to be answered. But we're going to give our kids a break here for just a few moments and talk to them about themselves and their schools. Let's go first over to Forest Heights. And Jabari, tell us about Forest Heights. It's down there in just in the Oxon Hill area. And your principal's here today, Dr. Brookover.
Yes. And
your sponsor here, Miss Stephanie, is here, Miss Stephanie Hinton, and she's very proud of you. And you had some alternates on your team. Who are they?
Xavier, Jemiah, and Levante.
You do that very nicely, Jemiah. Thank you. You're the go-to person for the introductions here. I've asked you before, and I'll ask you again. about some of the neat things that happen there at Forest Heights. What's happened recently that you're all excited about?
We also have a lot of clubs, like robotic clubs and other clubs that participate in learning extra interesting things that we haven't learned before, like topics.
Yeah, they call them extracurricular activities, and that's really good. Are you part of the robotics club?
No, but she is.
That's great, yeah, because I know Tamai wants to be an engineer, so that makes some sense. Jabari, what do you hope to do someday?
Be a veterinarian.
Yeah, and this young man has a dog, a bulldog, and a cat. Is that right?
Yeah.
So you're getting some practice right now. And Tamai, we were talking about engineering. How'd you get interested in engineering?
Well, when I was younger, my mom kept on telling me that I like to mess up her stuff and then rebuild it again.
Yeah, and that's probably a good indication. And you know, good engineers, once they put things back together, they actually work still. So it's going to be, we need good engineers. And of course, there are a lot of different choices. You can be mechanical, chemical, electrical, so you'll have to specialize at some point. What do you do in your spare time?
I do gymnastics a lot.
That's great. And Jemiah, tell us about yourself. You're looking very stylish over there today, and you also are a safety patrol. And where do you patrol in your school?
I patrol on the bus.
That's wonderful. And I asked you before if you're tough on the kids, and you said not very, huh?
Not very.
Because you want to be on their side. Yeah, because you're still a kid yourself, yeah, with a badge. What do you want to do someday?
I want to be a pediatrician.
Yeah, and you're interested in little kids. And what do you do in your spare time?
Well, I like to play outside and go to cheerleading practice.
That's great. Enjoy being a kid. It's a great time of life. Let's go over to Hillcrest Heights. And Carmen, all of you wearing your matching green over there. You're looking good. And tell me about Hillcrest Heights. Where is it located?
In Temple Hills, Maryland.
Temple Hills, yeah. And tell me who your principal is.
Miss Brown.
Wonderful. And the sponsor of your team?
Miss Rabara.
Miss Rabara. And yes, she is out there and she's biting her nails literally or figuratively because she's so anxious for you to do well, and you've really prepared for today. I know in their first game they were well behind and they had a nice burst in the second half. So the come from behind kids over there. Tell me about Hillcrest Heights. Best thing going.
We have a STEM program, and it's called the Hub to help people with their science and their homework. And then we have the Green Team, where in our principals they will add more exciting activities at the end of the day for after the day of Green Team.
Wow, that's pretty cool. So you know, even when school's over, it can go on, right? If you need some help and there's some neat things to do, it sounds like a great place to go to school. Tell me about yourself, Carmen. What do you do in your spare time?
Watch the Science Channel.
Ah, that's why you know so much science. That because I know you're a great student. And someday you're going to become a what?
Forensic scientist or fashion designer.
Fashion designer. How'd you get interested in forensic science?
By watching the TV.
Yeah, so many stories today because it's compelling stuff. Of course, when you watch CSI, they always solve it in 1 hour, don't they? Which is not kind of real life, but it's a fascinating. It takes so many. It's physics, it's chemistry, it's biology, like all the disciplines together. You'd be a real good success at that. Rayvon, nice to have you with us today. Tell us what you do in your spare time.
I draw.
You draw. What do you draw?
I draw portraits and like things I see around me.
Yeah. And do you give those drawings to people as gifts, or you display them somewhere? What do you do?
I display them.
Yeah, I bet you're very good. Have you always been artistic?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I know you'd like to do that professionally someday, right?
Yes.
When you grow up, yeah, well, we need good artists, and you know, the world appreciates beauty. And you have people draw it and paint it and sculpt it. Nice to have you back. And Adriana, tell us about yourself. What do you hope to do someday?
I want to be a marine biologist when I grow up.
Yeah, how'd you get interested in that?
I saw that they could swim with dolphins, and you get to, you know, those aquariums that you get to go in the fish.
Yeah. So you can be down there with the fish. You can even feed them while they're swimming around you. Yeah, I hope you go to the National Aquarium up in Baltimore. Maybe you've been there already, but they have beluga whales up there and sharks and people that doing what maybe you hope to do someday. I think that's going to be a great career for you, Adriana. Nice to have you with us. Let's get back to our game. Close one, 85-70. Forest Heights just a little above Hillcrest Heights. Red team, start us out.
Let's get physical for 5.
Let's get physical for 5 points. Teams, they call this planet greenhouse effect gone wild because it's wrapped up in carbon dioxide clouds and it is the hottest of all the planets. Name it. Name that planet, Forest Heights.
Venus.
Venus. Good. Go. Red.
Let's get physical for 10.
Let's get physical for 10 points. Teams, your question is as follows. Let's see. Beetlejuice. It sounds like something that you drank that made out of bugs. But Beetlejuice is actually the name of one of these bright, luminous heavenly bodies like the sun. Beetlejuice is a what? What is the sun? It's the same as the sun. Carmen?
A star.
It's a star. Good. Go green.
Let's get physical for 15.
Let's get physical for 15 points. Teams, the Leonid meteor showers come from a group of stars that looks like a lion called Leo. Those groups of stars that have different geometric shapes are known as these. What are they called, Carmen?
Constellations.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Adriana, for your assist. Go again, green.
Science potpourri for 10.
Science potpourri for 10 points. Oh, you might have heard about this a few weeks ago. It was very serious. At a high school in Virginia, a teacher had some methanol and put some chemicals in and lit it, and a lot of the students got burned. By putting different metals into flames, you can get different colors, just like they do when they make these that we look at on the 4th of July. Carmen?
Fireworks.
Fireworks. Good. Go.
Dateline science for 5.
Dateline science for 5 points. Teams, the most addictive food in America is pizza. We can't stop eating it. It's not because of the dough. It's not because of the tomatoes. It's because of this protein called casein in this gooey topping.
Cheese.
Jabari? Cheese. Good. Go.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points. Teams, cactus and aloe and other plants that grow in the desert have big fat leaves and big fat stems to store water. So what S initial term do we use to describe those kinds of plants? It is a synonym for juicy. Another name for juicy. S initial, Forest Heights.
Saucy. Saucy.
Not saucy. Good try. Cactus and aloe and other plants that store water in the desert are known as what kind of S initial plants? It's a synonym for juicy. Succulent. Succulent was the answer. Go, Red.
Science potpourri for 15.
Science potpourri for 15 points. Teams, this is very sad. Vultures in Africa are disappearing. They're being poisoned and shot. Who would do that? These kinds of people who are out there killing elephants and rhinos illegally, Jabari.
Poachers.
Poachers, yeah. Because the vultures are circling and they're giving away their position to the police. Go, Red.
Science potpourri for 5.
Potpourri for 5 points. Teams, score update. Forest Heights 110, Hillcrest Heights 105. This is Science potpourri for 5 points. Teams, in the story Chicken Little, Henny Penny says this when she's hit on the head by an acorn. Forest Heights.
I pass it to Jemiah.
Jemiah.
The sky is falling.
The sky is falling, absolutely right. We do have parts of spacecraft that fall from the sky. But, you know, Chicken Little, she wasn't that bright. Go, Red. Good answer.
Super 8 for 20.
Super 8 for 20 points. Teams, your question is as follows. Wild horses, wild pigs, wild cats. What F initial term describes those animals? Yes, Forest Heights.
Felines.
Not felines, no. What F initial term describes a creature that is wild, the opposite of domesticated. F initialed horses and cats and dogs. What are they known as? Feral, F-E-R-A-L. Feral pigs, feral horses, feral cats, they're the wild ones. 115 to 105 advantage, Red. Go, Jabari.
Dateline science for 10.
Dateline science for 10 points. Teams, their winter is coming up. And to spread the salt on the highways so we don't skid, they're mixing it with beet juice. You'll see it. You saw it before last year. It keeps the salt from melting away too fast, and it lowers this point from 20 degrees Fahrenheit to minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit. What point is changing, Jabari?
The freezing point.
Again?
Freezing point.
Not freezing point. Good try. They're changing what? From 20 degrees Fahrenheit to minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit when they put this salt on the road, Carmen.
Temperature?
Melting point. Melting point. You're trying to melt the snow and the ice. Go, Red.
Dateline science for 15.
Dateline for 15 points, teams. This is kind of disturbing. Big superstars like LeBron James are going in for cryosurgery. They're immersing themselves with some protection in a tank of this liquefied gas that we know if you put a banana or a rose in it, it'll freeze solid in a second. What is that liquefied? It is liquefied
Nitrogen.
what gas?
Nitrogen.
That's it, liquid nitrogen. Good. Red.
Body systems for 20.
Body systems for 20 points. Multiple choice question, teams. When you go in to get a shot from your doctor, don't roll down your sleeve too far. You want to make sure that you get the shot in the middle part of this muscle right here, which is known as the pectoralis, the deltoid, or the trapezius. Which of those three is the muscle here where you get a shot, Jabari?
Pectoralis.
Not the pectoralis. Is it the pectoralis, the trapezius, or the deltoid, Carmen?
Trapezius.
It was the deltoid, the one neither of you chose. Go red.
Let's get physical for 20.
Let's get physical for 20 points. All right, teams, we know that there are different kinds of clouds, cumulus and stratus and cirrus. If you put the word alto in front of those, like alto cumulus or alto cirrus, does it mean that the cloud is very high up, very low, or filled with snow? Jabari.
Very low.
Not very low. Alto cumulus, alto stratus. Very high, very low, or filled with snow?
Filled with snow.
No, very high. Alto, it means high. Altitude. That was the clue. Come on, you're not thinking. Go red.
Science potpourri for 20.
For 20 points. Visual question. Look at the monitor in the studio, please. I hope you've done this in your science class. If you take ink or crayon and you put a dot on the bottom of a piece of filter paper and put it in a solvent, you'll notice that all the colors that make it up separate as it goes up the piece of paper. What C initial term describes that experiment? What is that?
Color coordination.
Color?
Color coordination.
Color coordination. No, that's a good try. That's a good try. No. What's that? What's the C initial term that describes that, Carmen? Do you know that one?
Chemical change.
That's a good try too. It's called chroma, like color, chromatography. Try again, red.
Dateline science for 20.
Dateline science for 20 points. Teams, some students, and don't you try this, are taking drugs, smart drugs, that doctors give to people suffering with this A initial disease that is dementia, where people lose their personality. Jabari. What do you say?
Autism.
Not autism. Good try. Older people who get this disease, it robs them of their personality. It's a form of dementia, and they give them these drugs to try to make them smarter. And some students are taking these now to make themselves smarter. Do you know what that A initial disease is? Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's. Try again. Okay, we've got all the toughest ones left. You're going to have to really try here. Come on, we've been stuck here at 130, 105. Try again. Come on, Jabari.
Super 8 for 25.
Super 8 for 25. All right, teams. You know that if a lizard, if you cut off its tail, it'll grow back. A salamander, if it loses a limb, it grows back. If part of your liver is cut out, the other part will grow back. What R initial term describes that when something grows back again?
Reproducing cells.
Ooh, not reproducing. Very close. What do we call it when these things grow back again?
Reputed cells.
Regeneration. Regeneration is what it's called. Try again, red.
Green things for 25.
Green things for 25 points. Teams, plants suck up water from the soil, just like a paper towel sucks up spilled water on a kitchen surface by what kind of C initialed action that has the same name as the tiniest blood vessels? Tiniest blood vessels are capillaries. It's called capillary action. All right, come on, red, go.
Body systems for 25.
Body systems, 25 points. All right, teams, let's see. What's your question here? When you go in for surgery, a lot of times you can get real cold, involuntarily so, even though the room is hot, because your body is paralyzed because you are under what? What is the A term to describe the drugs that make you paralyzed and unconscious? Any future doctors up here? You rang in. What do you want to tell me?
Anesthesia.
Say it again.
Anesthesia.
Anesthesia, that's it, okay. All right, we go out with a bang here. Anesthesia does it, and it looks like that will seal the deal for Forest Heights. And we'll be back in a moment. Don't go away.
I tell people I have 3 kids, one of them's adopted, I just don't know which one.
I can't imagine having to be in a birth mother's position to make that choice.
You know, I was kind of just asking her, you know, what is your motivation? Why are you doing this? And she looked at me and she said, because you can give my son a life that I could not.
We always tell her thank you. He is such a blessing to us.
Every day is just a ray of sunshine from him. So we're Chanda and Brian, and we chose adoption.
Thank you for being with us today on Science Bowl. What a great game we had here today. Our final tally is Hillcrest Heights 105, Forest Heights 155. So today's winner, the winner of the Heights, Forest Heights, Jamia and Jabari and Tamaya. Let's give them a hand. Nice job, everybody. And their alternates, Levante and Jamaya and Xavier and Miss Hinton, thank you so much for all you've done with this team. We will see you in the semifinals. Dr. Brookover, thank you for all the support you give to the Forest Heights team. Only the second time you've won 2 in a row. You're on a roll. Hillcrest Heights, you guys are amazing. What a great play. What a great team you are. Adriana and Carmen and Rayvon, thanks for giving us a super game. And Rowena, thank you for all you've done here. And I know how hard you work to get them ready for today. And we thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time on another edition of Science Bowl. Bye-bye.